everyone. It's lovely to meet you and see you all here today. My name's Naz. I'm from Alpha Insight. Welcome to our brand challenge event. It's very exciting. Before each pitch, thank you, I'll introduce the brand we have lined up, and by sharing some snippets of insight from Alf. We're at stand T52, if you don't know who we are. But first up is Diageo. Diageo Johnny Walker remains the most popular Scotch whisky label in the world, with more than double the number of cases sold in 2020. I should know, as my husband consumed half of them. Last year, a handful of the top 20 brands experienced growth. Diageo's White Horse Whisky was by far the biggest mover of the year, selling 2.1 million cases. That's a jump of 18.9%. So now it's my privilege to introduce you to the first challenge.
Brilliant. All right. So, Benny, come up. Let's get this show on the road. Ladies and gentlemen, Benni Lickfett from Diageo. Take a seat. Take a seat. So, Benny, talk us through it. Why don't you start with you, your role, Diageo. Give us a bit of an overview of what's going on. Oh, I do. There we go.
Cool. Thanks, Jeremy. Hi, everyone. My name is Benni Lickfett. I work with Diageo, so if you don't know Diageo, we got a couple of stats around a lot of cases of whiskeys being moved, but we're a premium spirits company, so we operate in over 180 countries with over 200 brands. So a lot of big iconic brands like Guinness, Johnny Walker, Baileys, a lot of local heroes like a Pimm's in the UK or Bundaberg in Australia. So it's a very, very fun portfolio to innovate with. What I do and the digital innovation team is we're essentially the external radar for Diageo. And we look at what technologies, what players are really disrupting the way that our consumers find our products, purchase our products, share our products, as well as how technology is changing the world of our customers. So anything from a retailer like a Tesco's to a bar chain or an independent outlet. How is technology changing that interaction? And then importantly, we bring those technologies into the organization and look at really experimenting with it, looking under the hood, understanding what is the use case for us, what can we learn from it, and how can we partner and scale the stuff that really works. And that's exactly why we're here today. So for us, it's really important. We're brilliant at creating beautiful liquids and telling really nice stories around it. But we're not tech innovators. We want to look beyond the bottle. We want to partner with the best. And for us, it's really important to invite brilliant companies, understand what they're all about, and find ways that we can collaborate together. And today, for the first time ever, I have a dog listening to me, which I'm really excited about. I was hoping for a bear, but that dog is beautiful. So I might be a little distracted, so the startups have to work extra hard today. Good.
Love that. And one of your companies is here as well. We've got the coffee.
Yeah, that's true. So we have right over there actually brilliant partners of our Ripples, a company from Israel that we're doing lots of fun stuff with. But what they do, they actually turn any drink into a canvas, essentially, because they can print edible ink on top of a drink. And it's just a lot of fun. So go over there. I know they can get you a coffee with a "It's coming home" print on it. Very Instagram friendly. And rumor, and this is just for you guys, from 12 o'clock on, there might be some Kettle One espresso martinis in the mix as well. So keep that in mind.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go. So Benny, talk us through the brief. You set the challenge. Let's see if we can get that up here. Talk us through the brief.
Yeah, sure. So as I said, sort of for us, the essential, so stand up, the essential experience is still the same. You go to a pub and you have a nice gin and tonic, a nice Guinness, right? But we know the world around us is changing. All the touch points around it, increasingly physical and digital is blurring. During over the last 18 months during the pandemic, that obviously has been accelerated, right? Thinking about your check-in, your digital menus. So for us, the real opportunity is how can we help our consumers to connect with our products better, right? And that might be just helping them in a digital way to make the right selection. That might be rewarding them in a specific way, or just serving them really, really relevant content in the right moment. So today we want to hear from startups that help us sort of bridge that digital and physical, that help us to have really relevant communications with our consumers in the right moment.
Okay. And when it comes to the startups, what are you looking for in terms of what would be a successful company to pilot?
Yeah, so I think for us, it's really understanding what makes them special, right? What is that one thing that they do better than everyone else? Because, and we talked about this a lot, sort of, I used to be on the startup side in many different ventures, some successful, some very much not. And I think what is often, as a startup, you have a tendency to try to solve everything, right? So to be the digital pocket knife that can solve any problem. I want startups, or what I really respond to, if they tell me what one problem they're fixing for us and how that's different than anyone else. And obviously today, right, I don't expect you to know our business inside out. You know, that's something we barely do. But just give us sort of really your really clear pitch of what your value proposition is, how you can fix it to us, and then have a really collaborative dialogue of how we can do that together.
Okay, brilliant. Well, strap in. This is going to be fast and furious. We've got 6 companies. They're going to do 3-minute pitches, and then we've got time for a couple of questions after that from Benny. And so to kick things off, obviously we live in the moment, but how do we advertise in the moment? Well, a company that is solving that is called NumberEight. And from NumberEight, here's their CEO, Abhishek. Yeah, I'll just go for it.
Hello? Oh, it works. Okay, cool. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Abby, co-founder and CF NumberEight. Good to meet you, Benny. It's interesting. I'm going to pick up on that relevant content for the moment right now. It's great to see everyone in person. Well, we dig right into it. A challenge as put forth was, how can companies help Diageo create more personalized, relevant, and value-adding experiences? That was a challenge put forward. So we're not going to talk about personalization. We're going to talk about context. And we're actually going to talk about context because that's what we do at NumberEight. We predict what consumers are doing at a given point in time using the mobile devices. That's our definition of context. And, and to our understanding, you cannot deliver on personalization if you don't take care of privacy, which is up and center in everyone's mind today. The clicker is, I'm pressing it. Because why? Well, guess what? Privacy is all over the place right now. We as consumers want to know what's happening with our data. And so the question has arisen now, can you actually deliver personalization while taking care of privacy? And for us, personalization, it's most important to deliver things in the moment. And that's what we do at NumberEight. We predict consumer context. And what does it actually do? So we take mobile sensor data from our smartphones. We use some on-device artificial intelligence to then convert those moments into live contextual targeting. So you can say things like, I'm running, I'm working out, commuting. And based on those patterns, we can build identity-less behavioral audiences. And that is what is actually happening over here. So you'll see raw sensors being converted into live contextual moments, which will be then building into audiences. And that's, now, how can this help Diageo? I mean, you mentioned some of your brands. I'm a big fan of some of your brands. So drinking is a very social activity. It's you drink with your friends, with your family, etc. We said, you know what? Let's pick on a couple of these moments to say, and a couple of these audiences, such as sports fans. Tonight's a game. Hopefully England wins. And we said, oh, let's split that up in 3 different scenarios. So let's say pre-game, you have the most relevant content for that moment. You're stocking up for the game. During the game, well, you go with your friends to go have a drink. Post-game, this is really cool, by the way, because I actually want one of these. And so it sort of brings to life the relevant content for that moment, which is what we specialize in. And that's how we're seeing this mobile advertising landscape change, evolve drastically right now with the launch of identifiers. And another example that we have over here is frequent flyers. Again, a similar kind of scenario where we have pre-flight, on the way to the airport, and at the airport, where you walk straight to the duty-free. Now, we understand Diageo's point on, you take care of privacy. We understand your marketing principles. So we want to help you activate these audiences and signals through some of your agency partners, the likes of PAC and others, And yeah, we'd love to work with you. And this is our team. Come say hi. My teammate and colleague Emma's in the audience with the dog. So come say hi if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. Oh, no. Questions. Oh, questions. So let's jump straight into questions.
Dive in. Yeah, thank you very much. I think very, very good point set up around the right context and serving value-adding messaging. Just to understand how that works, so this is only with native app integration. So you guys have an SDK that you embed in other apps?
Exactly. She got it. She'll be activating our audiences through your partners, through the agency partners, and brand-safe environments that you have your trusted marketplaces. So we'll be selling you. So you'll be buying into audiences of frequent flyers who could be flying in the moment or who are grocery shopping right now. And all the device sensor data stays on the device itself.
Yep.
So it's privacy by design.
And would you guys, which part of that do you help us with? Do you have an app network that you would
No, we don't have an app. It's an SDK. So we'll be partnering with the likes of ad networks, publishers who have large user base, who you work with directly, or be working with SSPs, supply side partners, who will then. So you'll be buying from an agency, or you'll be buying through a DSP, and you'll see our audiences show up in there. So you'll be buying an audience of frequent flyers, joggers, commuters. Yeah, and you can target them either based on their habits or that I'm running right now.
Okay. Yeah. And then, do I have time for one more? Good. And then obviously this kind of thing, to get it really right, the content has to be unique as well, right? So how do you manage that? Because
So we don't do the content.
Okay.
That's why we specialize in the prediction of the moment and the habits. Content, we usually work with partners who do DCO or who basically do dynamic creative optimization, who essentially leverage our contextual targeting to then change the content to the moment.
Okay, brilliant. Cool. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. So obviously we've got the content, we've identified the moment. The next challenge though is, what about sampling? How do you do that sort of thing at scale? Well, the next company that is solving that is Odore. So from Odore, here's Karen. Cool.
Hi everyone, my name is Karan from Odore, and thank you very much for your invitation to pitch today. So, at Odore, so if you're not familiar with Odore, we've been around for a few years ago now, offering sampling solutions in both the physical as well as the online space. And over the years, we've built out the world's most powerful product sampling platform that's used by the world's best brands to help them build long-term customer engagement and value. Now, we understand that sampling is a very complex tool and requires lots of different tools for it to coordinate. That's why we created the Odore ecosystem, where we allow you to launch multi-channel campaigns across social media, email, and your own D2C websites, and manage everything in one centralized place. We provide a complete end-to-end solution, including the fulfillment if required. However, for the focus of this pitch, we can focus purely on the digital solutions. Now, how we do this. Now, launching a campaign or a program has two main steps. On the creative side, brands can use our creative no-code drag-and-drop builder to launch digital experiences, quizzes, interactive lead gen forms, digital coupons, and email. And the potential of this is really limitless. So let's say, for example, for Guinness, you can create an interactive lead gen form and send out a sample at home, or a digital coupon where a customer can claim their drink at their local pub. Now, we understand that conversion doesn't happen on the first touch point, so we allow you to map out the entire customer journey and help you drive conversion by personalizing the messaging for each and every customer. So we'll go past this slide. So you've launched the program and you've acquired all of the data neatly organized on the platform. You'll find out what drink the customer likes and what fruit they like. Now you can use our tool called segmentation to retarget the right customer to purchase the right product at the right time. You can search your database for customers that like citrus fruits and retarget them for Ciroc's new product launch, which we know that they will respond incredibly well to. In addition to this, we're able to track all conversions, whether that's in-store, online, or across multiple different channels. And we provide a comprehensive dashboard that highlights the metrics that are important to you, as well as measuring a clear and impactful return on investment from the campaign. You can also analyze various different touch points and see how many touch points it takes for a customer to first convert, as well as then become a repeat purchaser. So to summarize, Odore serves as your sampling operating system and integrates into your existing tech stacks to enable you to sample smarter and more effectively, with a view to grow long-term customer engagement, to either drive product sales for Guinness at the Six Nations, or to allow customers to enjoy a Johnny Walker on a cold night in the comfort of their own home. We believe that smarter sampling is the way forward, and we are the most powerful platform that will enable Diageo to achieve this. Thank you very much.
Good, thank you very much. And I absolutely agree. Sampling, I think, is an industry that's still quite broken and not enough data and effectiveness measurement. It's really great to see. So one question I have, a bit of a boring one, but to get out of the way, have you actually worked with any alcohol brands? Because for us, sampling, there's obviously some different considerations around age gating, ensuring it's only delivered to people of legal drinking age. Is that something you've come across before you could build into the journey?
We haven't worked directly with an alcohol brand, but what we're able to do is ask a customer to input their date of birth during that process, and we can also ask customers to upload a form of ID on these digital experiences, which all of that metrics come to you to validate.
Okay, great. And then, so we've ran different social sampling or digital sampling campaigns with players like Social Post and others. If you could just, for me, what do you think differentiates you guys from some of the other offers out there?
Well, firstly, it goes back to the digital experiences. So more than simply sort of capturing their information, we're gaining an insight into their preferences and matching them to the most relevant product for that particular customer. In addition to that, we're providing a more curated experience where customers have the opportunity to learn more about the brand, the story, and we think capturing this customer preference data is really important at a group level because you can sort of bundle together whether Guinness drinkers like Johnny Walker or if they prefer Ciroc. So it's about driving the cross-brand growth, and that's where these digital experiences can really enhance the value.
Do you have time for one more? And one question around, so as I understand it, there's a self-serve element to it, right, where we can build these campaigns. How now often in sampling you have, in big organizations, a media team, and you have a sort of shopper marketing team or sampling. So who normally with your customers, who's the client, and how do you manage that chain works across your platform?
So our platform is built to be self-service, but collaborative. So for example, the marketing teams would go ahead and design the digital assets. They'll be sent to management to sign off and approve. The CRM team would go in and they would track and tag certain data points, such as the email address, to ensure it's compatible with your systems. So it's used by a variety of different teams for different purposes, and that's all shared within one single brand dashboard and your creative libraries.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks, Karen. Done. All right. There we go. 2 down, 4 to go. And our next company is looking at how you can use text messaging and digital couponing to really drive our consumers through that path to purchase. From Hashting, please welcome James.
Oh, well, this is an easy first presentation back, isn't it? Crikey. So thankfully, I'm presenting a painfully simple solution today, something which has been said of me in the past. And based on your brief, you mentioned that brands are struggling to connect with consumers across all the various marketing touch points and all the various sales channels using just one simple solution. And Hashting solved this problem in a relatively simple way based on 2 insights. And the first is that your mobile phone number is your unique identifier, okay? It's also your omni-channel identifier. You take it everywhere with you. You even take it to the bathroom. Second insight is that we all use instant messaging platforms all day long. So SMS, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger. So a lot has changed in the last 15 months, to say the least. Let's just take a quick poll. Hands up if you've checked your WhatsApp or SMS in the last hour. Just a really quick show of hands. Okay, so it's good to see that some things remain the same. And our solution is based on that. we basically built a platform that will serve consumer journeys based on WhatsApp and SMS. So we're not an app. We live and breathe where the consumer already spends the most time. But more than connecting with consumers, there's two more steps. There's converting to purchase, and there's engaging with that consumer. So all of our mobile journeys have three simple steps: connect, convert, and continue. So that connect phase, you can connect any marketing touchpoint, online or offline, and within a single click or a scan, that consumer lands in their preferred or their chosen messaging service, so WhatsApp or SMS. The second step, convert them to a purchase in any sales channel, on-trade, off-trade, online, offline. And the final step is continue to engage with that consumer after they've made their purchase. And it's the combination of those three elements that make Hashting different. So Hashting is the only company where you'll get media attribution, proof of purchase, and consumer data, all based on one live dashboard. And when you asked before, Benny, what's the difference? It's that power of three. That's what makes Hashting different. And that's where the innovation is. Because it means you can track your conversion live. You can identify where it comes from. And that's massive at the moment. Where is that conversion coming from? And how can we optimize that consumer journey? How can we make it better? And when you start to look at those any scenarios, any consumer, any marketing touch point, any sales channel, you see that you can reach the consumer before they get to store. So you can use your social media, you can use influencers, your CRM. You can connect with the consumer when they get to the store using your point of sale. You can even connect with the consumer once they've got home using your on-pack, like Nescafe are doing. And once you've made that connection, you can convert the consumer to a purchase. Now we can run cashback offers, so we pay the consumer directly back into their bank account or their PayPal account, based simply on a proof of purchase. So that can be a receipt, but where we're working in Africa and India, it can be a picture of the product or a barcode, or just a picture of the consumer. But we also do coupons, we do samples, and we can give people a code to your direct-to-consumer site as well. So because we pay consumers directly, it means we can work with any channel, on-trade or off-trade, big or small, online and offline. You can make those offers dynamic, you can have it in situ, you can do gamification, you can base it on live events like the weather or the football. And finally, how to continue that conversation. Well, we're not a database, so Diageo owns all the first-party data. The second thing is you can serve the same consumer on trade and off trade without having to pay to reach them twice. We just send them a text or a WhatsApp. Third thing is you can't forget our loyalty offers because they're in your pocket, they're on your phone. And the final thing is we even turn your consumers into your media by helping them to share offers on WhatsApp and SMS in a way that we can track. So we can track who you share with and if they've made a redemption. So ultimately, it means that with a lot of brands, we're looking at their lower funnel, and the opportunity is really to focus on what matters, conversion and engagement. Thank God that's over. That was harrowing.
Back on the horse.
Good.
All right.
Presentation. No, well done. And you're right. I think it's a good, simple solution. I absolutely get the solution. So one question I have, and we've done different activations through, conversational commerce, things like chatbots and WhatsApp and SMS to a degree. And I know you guys work globally, right? You mentioned markets like India or Africa. So we know that sometimes in markets like Europe, there's a hesitation around sharing your personal phone number for marketing-related, communications. Could you just talk me through where you've guys seen traction, where you see the biggest opportunity, or what you might do to mitigate that hesitation of giving your phone number away?
Yeah, I'll take the second part of that question. There's great traction in the alcohol sector. So we are working with Bacardi, William Grant, AB InBev to a certain extent. And most of that attraction is based on that omni-channel element. It's serving the consumer, any marketing touch point and any sales channel. As for privacy, well, we're 5 years old, so we were born in the privacy environment. And everything we do is based on an opt-in. So you click the ad, that's an opt-in. You come to a landing page, there's an opt-in. You're in WhatsApp, there's an opt-in. So you can have 12 opt-ins all the way through the consumer journey. Hopefully we don't, We usually have 2 or 3. But everything is based on you taking that next step. And as soon as you're done with the offer, we don't contact you again. We might do a follow-up, one follow-up. Beyond that, you won't hear from us. So Hashting sits in the background.
Okay, great. One more question. I know it's a similar question I asked everyone, and why I do that is because I, in my mind, am trying to think who is the stakeholder or the owner of this in our organization, and how can you scale it, right? So just to understand where, again, what you guys do, where does it start and stop? Is this sort of a self-serve campaign tool where we do it? Do you do a sort of campaign creation consulting element to it, or what does the ideal brief look like for you guys?
Yeah, so I think most clients would be the brand team or the shopper marketing team. But for instance, if you look at Bacardi, we're working with Bacardi and EasyJet to give people a free drink in flight. So it can drag all sorts of people in, the tech team, the EasyJet team, for instance. But mainly brand marketeers and shopper marketeers. And yeah, we take over from the briefing stage and everything's taken care of in-house. There's a massive consulting element to it. That's really important. And if it's not there, that's where we're set up for suboptimum success, let's say. Because it's all about, okay, what's converting? Where is it converting? How is it converting? So with brands like Nestle, we're meeting every week to say, well, that touch point's getting traction, let's dial it up. This one isn't working, let's take it away. Let's try some in-store. So that dialogue's massive for us, because that's our key point of difference, is the power of 3, that combination of the dashboard.
Brilliant, thank you.
Super, thanks, Benny.
Well done, James. There we go. So we've looked at, in the moment, we've looked at personalized sampling, we've looked at text messaging and couponing. Now we're going to turn our attention to influencers and how they can be integrated into the buying journey. With an innovative solution to this, here's Knexus, and please welcome Graham.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Oh,
Where's he?
our clicker.
It's right there.
Fantastic. So, let me start with not breaking news. Social media has opened up a world of opportunities for brands to connect with shoppers. So the question is, if that's right, why are brands not doing a better job of using their influencer content in their websites and their e-commerce stores? We've got here some stats, real stats, from brands that are actually integrating that content into their consumer e-commerce buying journey. And you can see that the uplift is very substantial. So if we think specifically for Diageo and we take the brand Bailey's, what's the opportunity for Bailey's and where can Knexus potentially help you? So we can see immediately that Bailey's has got some really great content in terms of things like recipes, how to make drinks, cocktails, desserts. It's in YouTube, it's in Instagram, it's from influencers as well as the brand and restaurants. And what we think you should be doing with that is the following 4 things. First of all, integrate that content into the consumer's buying journey so they get the social proof and validation with your brand. And then make sure that that content is personalized so it aligns to each shopper in terms of the intent of that shopper and their profile. Off the back of consuming that content, create a seamless experience between the moment of influence, which is that content, and the point of sale. So they've got the product, they know where they can go next to actually buy. And finally, use data on performance of content in raising sales in order to drive your content investment. If you do that in terms of your brief, it's going to hit some of the key objectives that you have around creating personalized, relevant, value-adding experiences for every shopper, generating higher shopper satisfaction for every individual, and increasing your sales and conversion. Where does Knexus platform come into this? Knexus platform will give you a fully automated, scalable capability to deliver the things that we're talking about. That starts with the platform's ability to constantly search and index all the different content that could potentially help your consumers in their buying journey, and then to automatically tag all of that content through AI. The platform will then dynamically match every shopper to the most relevant content, and off the back of that, again, through machine learning, dynamically integrate the most relevant product or products to support that content. All of that goes into the buying journey in real time. So whether that's in a website or through a CRM program, on a mobile app, it will cover all of those things. And at the back end, it will output data that helps you to better understand the behavior of your consumer, as well as the impact that content has on their experience and buying behavior. What does that mean from an ROI perspective? We're sharing here some real data points from brands similar to your own. Primarily, we're looking at the ability to strengthen substantially your sales exits to e-retailers, for example, with Bailey's, as well as grow your engagement through improved content CTR and significantly reduce your bounce rate.
Thank you. So just a couple of clarification questions to make sure I get that completely right. So you guys, again, you don't create the actual content, right? You would help us tag that content. And then you work with sort of different ad servers to place it to reach the right audiences? Okay, if you could talk me through the integration, how that would actually work.
Yeah, so our role is for your consumer, once they're in a journey with your brand where you're controlling it, so they've already arrived to your website, they're getting CRM communications, they're using a mobile app. That's where Knexus comes in. And essentially the platform, as you describe it, is automating the ability to at all times understand what is that influencer content that's really going to be meaningful for that individual shopper. What is it? Where is it? How useful is it? It automates that, and then it's basically deciding, given who this shopper is and what they're trying to do, what piece or pieces of content, if those were in front of that person as part of their journey, would be beneficial to them and ultimately make them more likely to buy.
And then in terms of closing the loop on the data side, that would obviously, so specifically conversion, that would depend on what our integration of the actual shopping channel is, right? So do you guys work, we use tools like Shopperlist, for example, to help consumers convert from content. So you have your own setup for that, or would you use a tool like Shopperlist to sort of drive the conversion into outlet retail?
Yeah, so Knexus basically sits on top of the existing tech stack and will connect in through API or connectors to data sources, content sources, whatever's already in place. The key thing that the platform is doing is two things. Number one is making smart decisions based on a shopper. What should I put in front of them content-wise? And number two, getting that in real time into the journey at the right moment. That's the two things that the platform does.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Great. Well done. Thank you, Graham. All right, so we're getting closer down the journey to path to purchase. But before we get to that final click, we're going to look at video and how we can make video shoppable. So from PlayerCart, please welcome Oliver.
Hello. Hi there. My name is Ollie, and I'm from PlayerCart. And today I'm going to talk to you about our product that we developed, transactional ads. Oh, where's the clicker? So before I answer this question for Diageo that was very kindly put to us and we were invited to pitch for, I want to take it back a step and take a look at the current state of play of the advertising industry and how we all know consumer journeys work in our own mind. And as I move through this journey, I want you to take a look at the incentive to purchase chart that we have on the left. So I like whiskey. When I'm searching on Variety.com, I see the Johnny Walker ad. So I'm enticed to click on that ad. And at this point, my incentive to purchase is at its highest. I click on the ad, I load an URL, that takes some time. My incentive is dropping. I then land on Tesco's. Now Tesco's is a big website. I have lots of opportunity to look around, distractions, potentially even go and look at some other whiskey brands. But fortunately, I like Johnny Walker a lot. So I come back to Johnny Walker Red Label, and I like the spicy one quite a bit. So I add that to bag, and then I'm presented with a further hurdle. I have to sign into an account at Tesco's. And at this point, you'll notice my incentive to purchase is at 0. So what do? Something that we all do in our own times is go back to Variety.com, and I've started the journey all again. I'm back where I started, and the conversion is incomplete. Now, this is a problem. So what are we really talking about here? we're talking about the number of clicks it takes to convert. On average, it takes 22 clicks to check out online in a study made by Retail Dive. Our recent work with Glenfiddich found that they had a purchase journey of 40 clicks on their own D2C website to complete a conversion. And when Glenfiddich worked with playrcart, we're able to drop that down to just 11 clicks. That's a 72% reduction in the optimization of that conversion pathway. And you can see in the video on the left how we've done that. So at this point, you're probably wondering, what is playrcart? playrcart is a standalone SaaS platform that simplifies the buying process for the consumer. We enable customers to convert when that emotional response and the incentive to purchase is at its very highest. And we allow this to happen all whilst remaining within the video asset and publisher environment. So don't just take my word for it. We've taken the liberty of mocking up a few examples for how playrcart can answer Diageo's problems and pitch requests. So in the video here, you're seeing a highly engaging Johnny Walker ad enticing me to become a whiskey drinker or continue drinking whiskey. And what we've done is overlaid our technology. So when the user clicks with that call to action, I presented within the video asset an opportunity to configure the purchase from 3 different bottles of whiskey, add it to my basket. I'm configuring how many I want. I even have an opportunity to see where that whiskey is going to come from. I can then venture down the conversion pathway. So I'm still within the video asset, and I have an opportunity to access my browser level information. I can have my phone number, confirm that I am of age, and agree to the data policies. My delivery address is already auto-populated, and then I have an opportunity to add my payment details in a number of clicks. What this is doing is shortening that conversion funnel and allowing the transaction to take place instantly. And just with a click of a button, my whiskey's on its way. So let's take a look at how playrcart can also work to enhance the brand connection with the consumer on Diageo's behalf. So here is another highly engaging video asset. It's featuring David Beckham. Everyone likes to stop and have a look at what he's up to. And the call to action here is to claim a free voucher. Now, by clicking the call to action, I'm able to configure me, the sender, my recipient's details, and I can even add a message in here. So pure data capture play, all from within the video asset. And this person's put in, "Come on, England." So by clicking continue, playrcart's platform sends an email with a voucher to the sender, the recipient, and all of that data is then packaged up and sent to Diageo's CRM for later marketing purposes. How do we do this? Here's a very brief overview of how the tech flow and data flow works. So from the front-end Diageo player, all of that user-generated information is passed via APIs to our platform that sits in the middle. We then connect ours to any third-party nominated system. Now, whether that's a Diageo's own D2C brand, a Amazon fulfillment channel, for example, CRM, or even a third-party retailer, it doesn't matter to us. We can push that data out to wherever you choose. You're probably wondering, well, where can this technology run? We are a creative tech solution, so we have no media affiliations. We can package our technology up as HTML5 and push it out in various different video formats, including vast tags for scalable media opportunities. We can push it out through connected TV, live stream, and even bespoke environments. Thanks so much for the opportunity. I'd like to take any questions.
Thank you. So one thing, we've looked at shoppable video, and I think you're absolutely right. Often, those 40-click journeys through D2C channels is a pain that nobody should endure. So my question about the actual video player integration. So you mentioned D2C channels, but I assume on other video platforms from YouTube to Vimeo or others, they wouldn't allow you to have that type of overlay, or do you have any integration with third-party video platforms?
So YouTube is obviously a bit of a closed garden. They don't allow any third-party data to come out of that platform. As long as the media inventory can take HTML5 as a code, then our formats can run. So when it comes to video, it works in all open market display. We have media partnerships with the likes of Tees, Just Premium, who are here as well, and lots of other media vendors that we work with to integrate our formats.
Okay, so in terms of video ad formats through Teets or others, you could integrate that?
Absolutely,
okay.
Yeah. So we integrate our existing creative solution in their media formats, and it operates as such.
And similar then the retail integration, you gave some examples, but what is required of the actual retailer to integrate that, to create that type of seamless journey that we just saw?
Sure. So for us to set up a campaign, we integrate our platform via APIs with their existing e-commerce platforms. Let's take a Tesco, for example. For us to set that up, we would require essentially access to their testing area in the system, and then we do 90% of the development work, and we just require Tesco's dev team to do a bit of testing to make sure what we're sending them is correct.
Okay, and do you guys have certain integrations already live in a market like UK with certain retailers? Or?
We do. We already have an opportunity to push orders via Amazon, which is a fulfillment channel, and we also have integrations with one of AB InBev's brands and some of their owned D2C channels that they have, and we have also some that sit across the cosmetics and auto sector.
And last question, just in terms of your guys' business model. So is there a setup fee and then you take a commission of sales or just click through, or how does that work?
There is a setup fee. There's the development cost incurred when connecting the platforms together. That's a one-time fee. And then we sit our business model on the media side. So it's a CPM.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Well done. Thanks, Oliver. All right, we've done 5 pitches. We're down to our number 6 now. To bring it home, we're going to be looking at couponing. And here from GreenJinn is Vince.
Hello, can you hear me? Great. Well, we're here to talk about the full consumer journey. So it's always been a bit of a pain to measure on and off trade conversion from media. It's always been really difficult. So this is why we've developed GreenJinn Treasure, Track and Measure. So it connects and increases media engagement via mobile coupon incentive. We're then able to measure that media and understand which experiences and media is converting and resonating best with the consumer. We use that evaluation and we then retarget and personalize that media to suit the target tribe. So how do we do that? We use a coin. So it's a digital coin, and that coin plugs into your media. Any sort of media, could be online or offline, and it gives consumers an extra incentive to go ahead and purchase. And from that coin, we're able to track that journey the whole way through from impression to conversion in store or in bar. And then we can measure that media and understand which experiences is performing best. We then can retarget those consumers with relative and personalized ads from the insights gained. And it's super flexible. So these are some of the examples we've run to date, so it works really easily. Anything really with a link or a QR code, it plugs into. So the example we've run with Carte Noire on Instagram. This is an outdoor ad we've ran with an AB InBev brand, so it was proximity targeted around Sainsbury's local stores. A QR code, really simple. We've done leaflets, so in print. We've also done on pack, so a huge, really flexible system. The consumer journey, we try and make that as easy as possible. So the consumer receives a personalized coupon via the media. They're then going to buy the product in bar or in store at full price. They take a photo of that receipt, an itemized receipt. They upload it to our app, and then we give them the cash back into their bank account or PayPal. So this is just an example. I suppose Gordon's has got an awareness campaign live on Instagram right now. So instead of what we find is that we can elevate that from just being awareness. We see heightened engagement when you give the consumer an incentive to purchase. So for instance, the first one on us, this could be on trade or off trade. We plug in that cashback coupon. We see the increased engagement. It works in both the on-trade and off-trade, and then we're able to measure performance. That's the really key thing with us. A couple of examples of where it might work in terms of engaging experiences. In terms of a coupon, where a purchase is necessary to verify, we can plug that in. We can do mix-alongs, so we've worked with brands who do mix-alongs and cook-alongs, and it gives the consumers an incentive to take part because we give them that coupon. Or influencers, we can compare the performance of different influencers and see that conversion. What we have is a live insights dashboard, so you'll be able to see by campaign, you can compare side by side what the ROI of that conversion funnel is. So you can see impressions, page hit, link clicks, and ultimately redemptions. We've got lots of insights there on the age, You'll see down to a store level, down to a region, kind of where that redemption's come from. And then you can see by channel as well. And I suppose what else? Because we've got that receipt data, we've built out a category and retailer insights dashboard, so you're able to understand what else is that consumer buying, not just the Diageo product. So with Treasure Insights, you can make that media more personalized and nurture it towards the tribe. So for instance, you could do game day prep with sports fans. With gin fans, you could give them a preview to a new product, or Nolo drinkers in January. These are some of the awesome brands we've worked with to date. So in your category, AB InBev, Bodega Bay, Freestar, we've got a really great community of like premium brands on the app. And then we've built this out and we've worked with some great brands to date. So in terms of GreenJinn Treasure, it's the perfect way to build really engaging consumer experiences. We connect, we measure, and we evaluate, and we retarget. So GreenJinn with Gordon's is a GreenJinn, I suppose. So with GreenJinn, if you scan that QR code, you can get a discount today on your Gordon's. And that is us.
Thank you. One question around the receipt recognition technology, right?
Yeah.
Is that something that you guys, is it proprietary technology, something that you developed in-house?
Exactly. I suppose we've built that out. So we started life as a coupon app, so a cashback app connecting great brands with consumers. We've got about 1 million people on that app. So that OCR technology has been developed to validate receipts. So I think we have a 90% validation rate on those receipts.
Okay.
And then anything that looks a bit funny, we've got a fraud check and everything.
Okay, and you could onboard a new retailer by just feeding sort of their receipt.
Correct,
layout.
so long as it's an itemized receipt, yeah, it's really easy to onboard retailers.
Okay. And we've done some trials in this space in the past with partners like Shopkick and others, and one of the sort of hesitation we saw with consumers in market like GB or Ireland was actually, on one hand, scanning your receipt and sharing that information, and on the other hand, the cashback mechanism, especially in a market like GB where PayPal doesn't have that broad of a penetration. So I would just wonder, from your experience, do you see that changing, or what are some of the conversion rates you guys are seeing?
The conversion rate's really good. So I suppose if we go back to, say, that QR code example on the outdoor, we saw 11% conversion rate from people who scanned that QR code to purchase in store. So we were really pleased, and the client was really happy with that. So we've seen a really positive response rate on that uptake, and it doesn't seem to be a barrier at the minute.
Okay, and last question, just on the token consent, right?
Yeah.
I assume, so is that classified as a cookie, and that happens at the very beginning of the journey, or?
Yeah, exactly. I suppose it plugs into the media, and then it's the user will consent at that point, and then we'll follow them the whole way through from there.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Brilliant. There we go. 6 companies, 60 minutes. We're going to give Benny a couple of minutes to reflect, make a decision, and sign the check, and then we'll be back here to announce the winner. Here we go. So, Benny, talk us through. Obviously, it's quite a limited amount of time, a small amount of information, but hopefully a good enough insight into what each company does to make a decision.
Yeah.
Let's talk through the companies that you've met here today. So we started off the session with NumberEight and their idea of advertising in moment. What were your thoughts on what Abby shared?
Yeah, no, I think a really good concept, really good insight around the importance of contextual advertisement and how we need to get that journey right and feed the right context in it. For me, sort of the one consideration, potential barrier for us is that we don't really run a native app ecosystem. Right? Because quite frankly, for a lot of our brands, if you're a big rugby fan, you're not going to go to the Guinness app to find out about rugby. You're going to go to a rugby app, right? So while we partner with a lot of apps, it's quite a difficult ecosystem to get right, to have SDKs to agree that, and to run sort of broader campaigns on that. So we're quite reliant on app networks and getting that piece right. But I definitely think it's a really, really strong proposition that we want to explore.
Okay. And then we had a look at sampling from Odore. and Caroline took us through their solution. What were you
Yeah, so as I said, I think digital sampling journeys is something that we're really keen to explore. And I really like the focus on the experience elements of it. For us, it's a bit, I think, in that space, we're seeing quite a lot of different companies operating in it. So as I said, we're working with Social Post and others. So it's a bit more understanding of what's that differentiator and how can we really enable our teams to create different type of sampling journeys. So we'd love to see some more examples and just understand in the luxury industry how some of the players do that.
Cool. And then we moved to Hashtings and we looked at their solution to text messaging, couponing.
Yeah, so what I really liked about Hashting is the simplicity of the solution, right? And that's phone number based, and that is a global appeal. So our role is global. So we look at markets like Africa, Asia, India, other markets, and there that's that unique identifier and having simple solutions. And in a world where consumers are more and more worried about what happens to their data and want that transparency, it's actually a really straightforward way to do that. So for us, it's a bit understanding how you actually create those user journeys. How do you connect it at the back end? So we know, for example, on-trade redemption, getting a free drink in a bar is bloody complicated because it's a really fragmented point of sale system, right? So there's some things to work through, but I really like the simplicity of that solution.
Cool. And then we looked at influencers with Knexus. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so for us, I think an interesting segment, and we're on a drive to make essentially all our content shoppable. And we want to get a lot more contextual and smarter on that actual targeting. Now, the influencer world is a complicated one in terms of how what type of commercial agreements we have with influencers, who directs the content, how we can tag it, and how we can influence that journey. So it's something that we, I think, want to have a lot more ROI-driven approach and more data to back it up. So I think it's the right area. For me, stitching together how we would actually use your tool in between the influencer agencies, strategies, and the media agencies is the piece that I don't see clearly yet, but something I would love to talk to you about to figure that out.
And then we looked at shoppable video and player carts. I did
Yeah, so I think a great solution, as we said, we're looking into shoppable video content, both live streamed as well as different video formats. So for me, one of the key things there again is we want to go where consumers are and consume their content. And as much as we would love to, again, they're not going to go to the Guinness website to watch watch a piece of content that's further away from the brand and considers other passion points, right? So the integration in some of the other channels, that's quite a key bit. And similarly, we know we want to send people to retailers that they're familiar with, that we have a higher chance of conversion, that they have sort of a relationship with. So it's great to hear that you have some partnerships with Amazon, and that we could integrate into Tesco, but from experience we know that can be quite a challenging process to go through, right? So again, something we'd love to understand how we can take some of these barriers away to make sure that we can really have shoppable video at scale.
Okay, and then we finished up with GreenJinn and their approach to couponing. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I think in that area, as I said, we've done a bunch of experiments, and our sort of traction in terms of having people scan receipts as a validation of a purchase was often a bit cumbersome. So it's something I would love to be proven wrong and revisit and learn from your guys' sort of best practice experience. But right now, I see it often doesn't provide a very smooth consumer journey. And retailers don't always love that or are quite worried about how we use that data or how that's perceived by consumers. So I think it's something we just need to have that confidence to really scale that up.
Okay. But of course, Benny, there can only be one winner. I mean, of course, you could be working with lots of these companies, but for the purpose of this stage, we want to announce one winner. And the winner of the 20K pay pilot is
Hashting.
Hashting, there we go. Woo. Come on. Here we go. You've got your giant check. Wow. Congratulations.
Does this mean I can't get over tonight?
I feel a bit like a used car salesman with that massive check. Where we're standing.
Here we go. All right, congratulations. Thank you, Benny. Well done. And well done to all our 6 companies for some great pitches there.
Yeah, it was really, thanks so much from our side. A lot of brilliant stuff. And with all of you, I would love to continue the conversation. And thanks so much for your time.
Perfect. Brilliant. Thank you, Benny.